To the Zambia story. For more on the elections, we're now joined live from Lusaka by SABC contributing editor Vuyo Mvoko, who is covering the presidential by-elections. Good evening, Vuyo, and thank you so much for joining us. Can you give us a wrap of today's presidential by-election?
Well, Lulu, it wasn't one of those days that you could say, well, a lot was achieved. It was marked by a lot of toing and throwing, parties hurling insults at each other, but also trying to really punch holes into what has been happening up until now. But you've got to give credit to the Electoral Commission for standing their ground and really pointing out that if anyone is to be blamed here, it is the parties themselves. And at some point, the parties themselves had to accept that had they done their work a long time ago, Zambia would not be where it is today. And I'm talking here specifically about the constitutional provisions around elections, because the reason Zambia is here today where it isn't supposed to be is precisely because legislatures did not do what they were supposed to do. They did not enact the laws that they were supposed to enact, which would have made it difficult, if not impossible, for something like what is happening today to have happened. Lulu?
Now, Vuyo, we see that the reports are saying that there's really a 2% percentage difference between the two presidential candidates. What do the interim results show? Are these figures correct?
Well, given where things are at the moment, those numbers are correct. The two candidates are neck and neck. Even though, since the Electoral Commission started announcing the results, Mr. Lungu has been ahead, but that gap has narrowed quite significantly. So anything can happen beyond this point.
Now, when are the results likely to be announced, the final results?
Well, it is the wish of the Electoral Commission to have everything would be done by midnight today. That, however, looks very much unlikely at this stage. Hopefully, tomorrow morning, before noon, they will race through everything and try the best that they can try to make sure that they get to that point. But it's not an easy task at all. One, in fact, some of the people were starting to talk about, suspect that the parties themselves may just be dragging things now just to really see what they can get out of this. Just to read you something that one of the political parties, the opposition, sent out a short while ago. They say that they demand that the winner not be declared until the verification of all results is done and consensus is reached. Now, why should the Electoral Commission reach consensus with the parties about announcing the result? So already you're beginning to see that there may just be other factors involved which may drag this thing for a while, because the same party says they do not mind or they do not care even if that ultimate result is announced weeks later, which of course is not something that Zambians would want to see.
Now, Vuyo, have there been any incidences of violence today experienced so far? And is there anticipation of violence erupting at any point in time once the final results are released?
Well, as you would have probably seen in the stuff that we sent earlier, the police are on the alert for whatever eventuality, because they say that the parties have been stoking fires, so to speak. So they are on the alert in the event parties either mobilize their members, or parties that would have lost mobilize their members, or that happens sort of spontaneously. But police are on the alert for that kind of eventuality. But perhaps worth mentioning is the fact that the Zambian National Broadcasting Corporation has also been dragged into this, saying that the results that they have been broadcasting are not accurate, that they are not that they are favoring the Patriotic Front. Those are just some of the allegations that have been going around. They too issued a statement not too long ago where they are saying they're trying to get into the bottom of this matter to ensure that Zambians get the answers that they deserve. Lulu?
Now, Vuyo, finally, is there any indication with regards to the inauguration date?
It obviously won't happen before the declaration of the results by the Electoral Commission. But that, of course, is a process that's firmly in the hands of the people who are in government. But the Constitution here provides for or stipulates that there should be inauguration within 24 hours after the final declaration by the Electoral Commission.
Vuyo, thank you so much for joining us. That was our contributing editor, Vuyo Mvoko, joining us live from Lusaka in Zambia, giving us a roundup of the presidential by-election.